Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So yeah, in this video, it's that time of the month again where I do 5 first time watches. But yeah, this one is going to be a little different because I actually watched quite a few movies for the first time this month. So I'm actually going to go through 10 first time watches this month. Whether I do it next month, I don't know. But yeah, I think there was just enough movies I saw um, this month to warrant talking about them. I enjoyed all 10 of these movies. I'm recommending all of them. Some very, very interesting titles that I saw this month. Some older movies that I think are worth talking about, and don't want these movies to be forgotten because I think they're great. But yeah, recommending all of them. I'm going to kick it off with the first one. So the first one I've got is an action movie, really silly action movie, but I really enjoyed this one, and it is Navy SEALs, starring Charlie Sheen and Michael Biehn. Everything I wanted this movie to be, it was silly, over the top, action orientated, and it was just great to see Michael Biehn and Charlie Sheen sort of acting off one each other as well. Bill Paxton's in this as well. It's a great, fun action movie. It's over the top, it's silly, it's everything you want it to be. And that's all I can really say about it. So that's my first pick, Navy SEALs. Next up was a TV movie that I hadn't really heard about from the States, and it is the Laramie Project. Yeah, great cast in this one. Really, really like the movie. It sort of follows this town who someone got murdered, and they're trying to figure out whether or not it was kind of like a hate crime or something. It's very, um, it's it's confusing, but the way it's filmed, because it's just sort of retelling people's interactions with this person who got murdered and the murderer and what it's about. It's really, really interesting. I haven't really seen a movie like this. That's why I thought it was worth talking about. But the cast was just absolutely stellar. Really, really enjoyed this film. Thought it was great. And yeah, you'll watch this movie and you'll see random famous faces just pop up, and it's a lot of fun, but really tough subject matter. So yeah, that's my second pick, The Laramie Project. Next up was yeah, I had fun with this film. Not perfect, but yeah, that is Clay Pigeons. This stars Janine Garofalo, Joaquin Phoenix, and Vince Vaughn. It was just a wacky, over the top comedy, shall we say? The opening was great. It sort of follows these two guys who are out in this field by this tree shooting up glass bottles, and one of the friends out of the blue just decides to turn the gun on his friend because he suspects him of sleeping with his girlfriend, and it takes off from there. And yeah, it's really, really fun. I really, really enjoyed it. The cast is great. Do give this one a look because it is sort of one of these underrated comedies from the 90s that I really, really enjoyed. So yeah, that is Clay Pigeons. Next up, we've got a bit more of a serious movie. It's called The Man Who Cried, starring Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci and John Turturro. So it sort of takes place, I think, during the Second World War, and it's sort of about this play that's getting put on, the stage production, and John Turturro is like the main actor, but he's a bit sort of up his own arse, and the way he sort of treats people is not the best. And Christina Ricci's just trying to find her father, as it were. And yeah, it's a great movie, really underrated. I think it was the next movie Christina Ricci and Johnny Depp did together after Sleepy Hollow. I think this was a year later, and I absolutely love that film. And seeing them reunite in no time at all in this one was quite a joy. And yeah, it's worth checking out. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is The Man Who Cried. Next up, we've got an early 90s sort of romantic comedy. I really enjoyed this one, and it is The Cutting Edge. Yeah, if you've seen Rob Reiner's The Sure Thing, this is pretty much the same movie, but um, it's more, it has more ice skating incorporated into this movie. yeah, it's about, you know, two people who just absolutely despise each other, but they're forced to spend time together, and you know exactly where it's going to go. But I had a lot of fun with this film. Not perfect, a little bit predictable, but I thought it was great. I thought the two leads had great chemistry, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, that is The Cutting Edge. Next up, this movie for me had possibly one of the best ensemble casts I've seen in a movie ever. I had so much fun with this film. I just thought it was great, and that is Big Trouble. The cast of this movie is just utterly insane. Just to reel off a few names, you've got Tim Allen, Janine Garofalo, Patrick Warburton, Stanley Tucci, Ben Foster, Zoe Deschanel, Johnny Knoxville, Tom Sizemore, Jason Lee. It's so jam packed full of talent. Rene Russo and Sofia Viagra's in this as well. It's just off the charts with the cast in this movie, and it's just utterly insane. The plot is just batshit crazy, so fun, so entertaining, and yeah, go into this one completely blind because I had an absolute blast with it. It was such a ball, this film. Really entertaining to boot, and yeah, totally recommend this film. The cast just did it for me. It was superb. So yeah, that is Big Trouble. Next up, we've got a movie that I caught the end of this movie when I was a kid on TV, and I could never find out what the movie was called. And lo and behold, when I did my top 10 Rick Moranis movies, I had a look at this film, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll check that movie out. And that is Little Giants. Really fun, this film. It wasn't until I was watching the movie and I thought, is this that movie that I saw when I was that I caught the end of when I was a kid? And lo and behold, it was. Completely recognized it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It sort of is these two brothers. One's played by Ed O'Neill, one by Moranis. And Ed O'Neill's character, he doesn't want a girl on the football team that he's recruiting for. So Moranis decides, right, okay, my daughter wants to be on the team, but my brother's not letting her on, so we're going to start our own team. And yeah, the rules are only one team can come from the county that they're from. So they decide to play against each other for that title. It's a lot of fun, little predictable, but yeah, really enjoyed this one. Great comedy. The kids in this movie are just great as well. They're having a lot of fun with the roles they're given, and I really enjoyed it. Really entertaining to boot. So yeah, that is Little Giants. Next up, this was another movie I had a lot of fun with. Ed O'Neill's also in this movie as well, and that is Disorganized Crime. This also stars Lou Diamond Phillips and Fred Gwynne, famously playing from The Monsters. He'll be instantly recognizable in this film. This really reminded me of Midnight Run. I had a great time with this. It's not as good as Midnight Run, but it definitely had that vibe to it. The two police officers in this are just absolutely hysterical, where they have someone in custody and they escape, and it's so fun. It really is. All the criminals in this movie just have great chemistry with each other as well. If you've not seen it, this is just, it's going to tick all the boxes for you if you like movies like Midnight Run. Really enjoyed this one. Had an absolute ball with it, and yeah, absolutely entertaining. So yeah, that is Disorganized Crime. Next up, we've got a movie I saw after because I was looking at more Brendan Fraser movies, and this one seemed to go under the radar. And I picked it up, and again, had such a great time with it. And it's called 20 Bucks. Yeah, the premise to this movie is really simple. A $20 bill gets withdrawn from an ATM, and the movie just follows the 20 bucks of, as it gets passed from hand to hand, and the stories of the people that trade this $20. And yeah, it's just really interesting. It's very sort of, there's no linear plot or story to the movie. It's just following these different characters and the scenarios that they're in because of, this $20 that gets passed around. Um, Really, really entertaining to boot. Seeing Christopher Lloyd back playing a villain as well in this movie was just great. As this sort of this armed robber with Steve Buscemi was just entertaining to boot. To see the two of those actors bouncing off each other, and yeah, really, really fun. Really enjoyed this film. It doesn't overstay its welcome, but again, it's another movie with just an absolutely stellar ensemble cast, and really, really dug the film. So yeah, that is $20. Now this next one, I've actually really been dying to talk about this film. It was brought up on one of my comments left. I think it was my favorite Christina Ricci movies by Dawn of the Discs, and he mentioned that this movie was a rough watch, and he wasn't kidding. I'd heard things about it before that it was a rough watch. But yeah, talking about the film itself, it is Bastard Out of Carolina. This has to talk about the sort of things I liked about the movie. Well, I overall liked the movie, but the cast of this movie was great as well. Jennifer Jason Leigh and Michael Rooker are both in this film, and they're both great in it. And yeah, I'm going to mention some other movies, and it may put you off from wanting to watch this or seek it out, but movies like The Nightingale and Irreversible and Scum, there's some of the most toughest and hardest movies I've had to sit through, and this was the same, no exception. This had a scene in it towards the last 10 minutes of the movie that didn't sit well with me at all. I've seen scenes like that in movies before, rape scenes, which are just really unpleasant and tough to sit through. But part of me at the end of this film thought this movie may have gone too far with what I was seeing. It wasn't it's not the most graphic thing I've ever seen in a movie, but when I had to sort of, after the movie had finished, and I had to sort of take a minute and sit back and contemplate what I had just saw, part of me thinks this movie has gone too far. It had something in it I never thought I would see in a mainstream Hollywood movie, and it kind of struck me too much. Like I said, I think it's gone too far. If you've seen the film, you probably know what I'm on about. But yeah, it something about it didn't sit with me. It just made me, as uncomfortable as I was, it just pushed a boundary for me that I just didn't think I was ever going to see in a film. And yeah, that's all I can say about it. If the movie isn't the easiest to get hold of, but yeah, I must say this is definitely worth a watch. Check it out at least one time. It's not the easiest of watches. I am warning you about that. It is a tough watch, but the end of the film just for me went a bit too far when I think about it. It's really unsettling, and yeah, just like I said, something I thought I would never see in a film. That's all I can really say about it. It is a great film on the whole. There are definitely some sequences in this that are really, really tough. There's a real brutal act of violence in the middle of the film, and the last 10 minutes for me was just, I was really taken aback and just had to contemplate what I had just seen. But like I said, part of me does think the movie went too far. It was pushing the boundary enough as it was, and then I think it took a leap over the line. But that's just me. Maybe you've seen the film, and maybe you probably might have thought it was a tough watch, but maybe it didn't go that too far for you. I don't know, but for me it did, and it was just really, really rough. But yeah, if you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts about it without spoiling what happens at the end. But yeah, I'd never seen it, and for me, on that basis alone, it was just worth talking about. Yeah, really rough film, but a great one nonetheless. And that is, yeah, Bastard Out of Carolina. So yeah, those are my first time watches for the month of February 2023, guys. Let me know if you've seen any of these, if you want to see, if you fancy checking any of them out. But yeah, these were movies I had a real good time with, or they impacted me enough that I wanted to talk about them, and yeah, just really enjoyed them. So yeah, gonna leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.